A rising tide floats all boats. Only when the tide goes out you will discover who's been swimming naked. This means when things are good, all businesses are making money, but when things turn south, many are exposed.
In my life, I try and avoid things that are stupid and evil and make me look bad in comparison with somebody else.
A rising market can mask a lot of Ponzi schemes because it is often simple to raise funds and few investors request redemptions. When the stock market crashes and investors try to cash out of previously unknown fraudulent investments at the same time, the schemes quickly fail due to the ensuing liquidity crisis. For example, when the market is crashing and investors are getting margin calls or need funds to pay off a house, they will go to their safe investment, and that's when the scheme is discovered. Fraudsters will have a difficult time raising new funds from investors, which is how they keep the schemes running in normal times. Bernie Madoff is the perfect example. In 2008, Bernard Madoff was convicted of operating a Ponzi scheme in which he falsified trading reports to show a client was profiting from investments that did not exist. Madoff marketed his Ponzi scheme as an investment strategy known as split strike conversion, which involved the ownership of S&P 100 stocks and options. Madoff would use blue-chip stocks, which have readily available historical trading data, to falsify his records. Then, to achieve the desired periodic return, falsified transactions that never occurred were reported. During the 2008 global financial crisis, investors began to withdraw funds from Madoff's firm, exposing the firm's true financial picture's illiquidity.
He had a wonderful set of skills for a Ponzi schemer, for a con artist. He was, unlike most Ponzi schemers that I've covered, not charismatic, not charming, not a bon vivant. He was never the most charming person in the room.
Ponzi schemes usually fail because there is no legitimate profit to sustain the process. To continue, the scheme requires a steady flow of new money from new investors. However, during a market crash, investors are afraid of being wiped out, so most will cash out or refrain from investing until the dust settles. When the flow of new investors slows or a large number of investors want to cash out, the scheme will collapse. Another case is the FTX collapse, which happened during the crypto crash in 2022, when FTX collapsed and could not process people's withdrawals. Panic and frustration spread among its users. People who had invested their money in the exchange platform were unable to access their funds, and their accounts were frozen. To make matters worse, FTX did not provide any clear explanations or updates on the situation, leaving its users in the dark about when they could expect to regain access to their funds. Some users even reported that their withdrawal requests had been canceled without any explanation or warning. This lack of transparency only added to the frustration of those who had trusted FTX with their investments, and it damaged the reputation of the company in the eyes of the crypto community. As a result, the market crash exposed yet another fraudulent business, as the CEO of FTX, Sam Bankman, blamed the collapse of his crypto exchange firm on the crypto crash.
One of the reasons FTX went bankrupt is because FTX deposits were used to pay Alameda's creditors. Carolyn Ellison said you knew about that. Is that true?
You know, best I can tell, Alameda did have a big position open on FTX. That position, I think, was very over-collateralized a year ago. There was a total market collapse, and specifically a large correlated collapse in its assets, over the last month, and to some extent over the last year, that threatened that position quite a bit. And I think that's, as best I understand, a lot of what happened there.
The market crash exposed these Ponzi schemes and fraudulent businesses because it caused investors to panic and withdraw their money from the markets. As a result, Ponzi schemes and fraudulent businesses could no longer sustain themselves, as they relied on new investors' money to pay their old investors. When investors withdrew their money, these fraudulent schemes collapsed like a house of cards. Moreover, many businesses that had been hiding their fraudulent activities behind the facade of healthy profits also found themselves in trouble. As the markets crashed, their profits dwindled and their financial statements began to unravel. exposing the truth. The market crash also led to an increase in regulatory scrutiny of the financial industry. As investors lost money and the economy took a hit, the public's anger turned towards the financial industry. This led to increased demands for stricter regulation and oversight to prevent such events from happening again. Regulatory bodies like the SEC became more vigilant, and they started investigating businesses more thoroughly. They also started collaborating with other international regulatory bodies to prevent the spread of fraudulent activities. The market crash of 2008 exposed several Ponzi schemes and fraudulent businesses that had been operating under the radar for years. The crash caused investors to withdraw their money, leading to the collapse of these fraudulent schemes. It also led to increased regulatory scrutiny, which made it harder for fraudulent businesses to operate. While the market crash was a devastating event for the economy, it exposed several bad actors in the financial industry and led to a renewed focus on transparency and accountability. So here are the big questions. Is Bitcoin next? Will this economic crisis expose Bitcoin? Or there's nothing to expose? Bitcoin is legit. Let us know what you think in the comment section below, and we will let you know what we think. Keep on watching.
Bitcoin is better than currency in that
it's not a currency. I mean, it does not meet the test of a currency. It
is worthless artificial gold.
There will be other currencies like it that may be even better.
There will be no real non-controlled currency in the world.
My opinion of Bitcoin is that, I think Bitcoin is probably a good thing.
I don't personally understand the value of something that has no actual value. You all can do whatever you want, and I don't care.
The market crash is an inevitable reality that every investor has to face at some point. As the market falls, investments lose their value, and the desperation to recover losses becomes palpable. In such times, many investors may turn to Bitcoin as a safe haven, as it has been touted as a decentralized and independent asset that is not subject to market fluctuations. However, the market crash can expose Bitcoin as one of the biggest scams in history. The reason is that Bitcoin's price is heavily manipulated, and the so-called decentralized blockchain is controlled by a few big players who can easily manipulate it to their advantage. The lack of regulations and oversight in the crypto industry makes it vulnerable to fraud and scams. The market crash can lead to a surge in fraudulent activities and Ponzi schemes that promise high returns on investments. Investors may fall prey to these scams as they desperately try to recover their losses. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies may be used as a tool by scammers to lure in unsuspecting investors. The absence of a central authority that can monitor and regulate these activities can leave investors with no recourse. The market crash can reveal the fundamental flaws in Bitcoin's design and its potential as a currency. Bitcoin was designed to be a peer-to-peer digital currency that would disrupt traditional financial systems. However, the slow transaction times and high fees make it impractical for everyday use. The market crash can expose these limitations and highlight the fact that Bitcoin is not a viable alternative to fiat currencies. It may also raise questions about the long-term viability of the crypto industry and its ability to deliver on its promises. The market crash can expose Bitcoin as one of the biggest scams in history, as it highlights the flaws in its design, the vulnerabilities in the crypto industry, and the manipulation of its price by a few big players. Let me ask again, is Bitcoin next? Will this economic crisis expose Bitcoin? Or there's nothing to expose? Bitcoin is legit. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. And please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, so you will be the first to know when I drop another video.